So yeah, this is again going to be a short one, and it's 10 favourites right now rather than, you know, and it's just a quickly put together one. And I'm sorry to the person who kind of requested this video. They're all ones you've heard of before. I haven't really been exploring indie or any fragrances too much for most of this year because, well, I'm not saying it, but yeah, I've been quite busy and stressed with stuff, and a lot of stuff's put away and everything's a bit of a mess at the moment. So yeah, but indie, I know people seem to have this kind of thing that indie people are pretentious snobs and what have you, and not really, we're just people who like fragrances that are a bit different and made with a bit of love, not by AI, I guess. It's fair enough. We all have different tastes and stuff. So it's just 10 random favourite indies of the moment. And again, there'll be loads you've already heard of. But it's nice to put them together in a video. I haven't done one for a while, like I say. So yeah, we'll just get cracking on. I've made that usual rule I do. I think there's only one from each. There might be one exception to that. I'm going for one from each indie brand, so they're not all the same. And we're going to start with obvious one, the one you're expecting, so I may as well get it out of the way, and that's One Way Bridge's Date with a Dame. Now this probably is one of my favourites ever, really. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I enjoyed the first few fragrances I tried from the brand, but this was the one that I was just like, wow, this is something bloody special. Date with a Dame is a tuberosy fragrance, but it sits on that kind of sweeter side of the tuberose. Tiny hints of anise, and then there's just this beautiful muskiness about it. Like, I mean, magnificent. It's that mixture of, you know, you get them kind of clean musks, and then them kind of a little bit of a cheeky wink musks all mixed in. And there's also, to me, apparently I'm one of the only people who ever gets this, it's a kind of cherry feel about it, which I like a cherry sweetness. It doesn't smell like a cherry per se, it just reminds me of that, and it all comes together. And in your head, even though this was apparently made as quite an innocent fragrance, there's something about it. There might be suede in it as well, I think, something like that. You just get this kind of biker person, biker chick or biker fella with purple hair and lots of tattoos, kind of, you know, completely alternative, doing their own thing, but with a certain amount of traditional beauty in there, I guess. It's magnificent, and I've spoke about it so much I'm not going to go into detail. That's A Date with a Dame from One Way Bridge. Next is another one I speak about a lot, it's April Aromatics, and it's Lotus Rising. And this is one I've actually wore a fair old bit because it's what I need currently. It's sugar. Oh, I managed to stay up there, but I've hurt my ankle. Don't need to know that this is what I need to wear now my ankle's hurting. It's kind of this lotus flower basically bobbing along on this gorgeous peaceful stream. You can hear the water trickling, you can smell the kind of wet damp earth, you can smell all the other flowers all about. I seem to have got myself lost, I didn't mean to come down here. And it's just very beautiful, and lotus is quite a sweet, noticeable note, and it just is peaceful, it's serene. Like I say, it's all the other things around it, the muddy water, the greenery growing round and stuff. It's just absolutely magnificent, and it's one of my favourites for a reason. It's different, and I'd like to go to the place that inspired Tanya to make this fragrance. Let's try not to die. Fuck. Right, I'm alive. It's just, yeah, sorry about that. It's a beautiful, peaceful stream. Not like this highly polluted, stinking thing here. Just the soft floral aspect, the soiliness, the earthiness. Just, you know, you can imagine yourself meditating in the sky rolling by and all of that. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's April Aromatics, Lotus Rising. Oh. Next is from Redolescent, a British indie brand. They have quite a few, but again, I suppose I'm talking about my favourites. Is QH, which is quite a magnificent fragrance. Again, it's one that kind of stands out on its own, and it's certainly a statement maker. I do not fancy this hill. God, it's like a dark rose, and there's a fruitiness going through it as well. So it's hard. Some people don't really get it as a rose fragrance. I tend to smell the rose, but it's dark, and there's also a little hint of cumin in there, which gives it this really kind of sultry, carnal naughtiness in there, and that seems to go like magic with the rose. And I think in the base you have like a sweeter Popanax. I think there might be a little sparkle of cardamom, which again adds to the boozy rose, the boozy dark rosy feel. It's a very nice fragrance, and that's all I'm going to say really. If you like rose and you like your kind of more gothic naughty rose, it's definitely worth checking out, as is a lot of their fragrances. So that's QH from Redolescent. Next is another impossible one to describe really. That's Dark Night of the Soul from Om Fragrances. Now the more I smell from them, the more kind of impressed I am with them. They are ones with lots of listed notes, but what you actually smell is what really matters. And Dark Night of the Soul, to break it down to the most basic thing, there's a little bit of a chocolatey, cheesy, oody, but calm, soft musky, kind of powdery one. You get the way the woods and everything blends together with the kind of unusual notes and the kind of soft dabble of powdery chocolate. Look, I've got miles to go. So is what makes it. It's a little bit kind of moody's the right word. It's calm and it's relaxing, but it's also got this kind of these little flecks of something a bit different and a bit dark about it, a little bit chilling. But yeah, I'm going to waffle on. That's Dark Night of the Soul from Om Fragrances. Next is one that's on my, obviously my want list, and that's from Sarah Baker, who has had some absolutely incredible fragrances, truly legendary fragrances. But this one is one that I particularly seem to enjoy and well, absolutely love, and that's Flame and Fortune. This is predominantly a tuberose fragrance, and it's all your tuberosey kind of feels. A little bit green, a little bit sweet, you know, very floral, very interesting. But you can smell like this. I think it's listed as motor oil, but like a cade oil, you know what I mean? Like a proper kind of cadey smell. And this fire, actual literal fire, like someone's poured petrol on these tuberoses and set them alight. You can smell the flowers burning. And that's where I just walked up. Yeah, so it was quite a walk that. Oh, the bloody wind. So yeah, it's a field of burning tuberoses basically. And if you're like me, you like something a bit smoky, a bit kind of that hot, fiery feel, and you love tuberose, give this a try. It's one of the best of its type I've ever smelled. And there is a little bit of sweetness in there, I couldn't tell you what that is. But has been reformulated apparently. I'm not sure how different the newer version is. I'm sure it's just as gorgeous, and it's another on my wish list. But yeah, Flame of Fortune from Sarah Baker. Next is from another little British indie brand called Olfactive O. And this one just happens. There's a couple there's a few I absolutely adore. They're kind of indie kind of niche, easy ones. There is something about them, I'm not saying that, but they're kind of your more leaning mainstream, more likeable, easy to wear kind of ones. And Fruity, I'd say, is my favourite, which basically is like green, thorny raspberry bushes, strawberry bushes, you can actually smell them. With a kind of actual green or naturally sweet rather than a strawberry can go really wrong, can't it? It's not like that, it's more of a greener feel. There's a lot going on in there. It's obviously a lot of greenness, a little kind of mintiness, which I always think of raspberry leaves. I don't know if raspberry leaves are minty, but in my head has that feeling, and there's a nice patchouli and the vetiver in the base. And it's just like, it's like this, it's like ploughing through a woodland to pick wild berries and stuff. I think it's peach lingering in the background, which gives it this kind of sweet body with a little bit of tartness. It don't get, you know, it's not a sticky, sweety one. It's just very natural, and I think that's what I love about it. There's nothing better, is there, than walking about and smelling all the natural fruits and stuff in the air. It's really nicely done, and kind of not what you'd expect from a fragrance called fruity. You're probably thinking some big synthetic beast of uber sweet, sugary, saccharine, creamy, choking nonsense. No, this is like actually being in the wild. It's a lovely fragrance. So that's fruity from Olfactive O. And we'll end it with two fantastic ones as well. So first up, Charlie, is Viole Nere from Fusciuni. Now this is a fragrance that I'm going to start wearing more and more now it's got cold. Well, will be getting colder, should I say. It's about 20 degrees today. It starts off with this kind of barren wasteland, this waste kind of land and stuff. It's got this kind of chalky, cold orris, and slowly as that kind of develops, you get these little whiffs of green and a little whiff of purple, and like quite a strong patchouli. And it sort of, as the fragrance develops, it sort of get this colour and this kind of sweetness growing through the coldness. And I think there's something yellow, perhaps mimosa or something in there, and that kind of pushes through a little bit of sparkle of sunshine and that. And it gets a little bit sweeter with the violets. It's never too sweet, and a little bit more boozy, kind of Divana like feeling booziness, where it's kind of a fruity greeny kind of smell. And then there's this gorgeous muskiness come through it. It's obviously to represent winter into spring and that, but it's just such a beautiful fragrance, and the leathery kind of boozy things makes an absolute pleasure to wear. So that's Viole Nere from Fusciuni. And finally is Dancing with Strangers from 4160 Tuesdays and Tessa. I'll in there. It's basically this like vintagey violet iris rose one, powdery, lovely, vintage. It's got this lovely muskiness, it's got this warmth. It kind of changes quite a bit through it, but then you are left with this kind of vintage smelling one. But it's the magic of this one is the honeysuckle, this kind of golden greenness, this little bit of something sweet and dry, kind of florally feel in there, and it just works magic with it. Really, it makes it something different. Yes, it's still got all them kind of factors of your kind of traditional, you know, violet iris kind of one, but that mixing with these kind of gorgeous muskiness and stuff, it kind of just transports you to a wonderful place, a nice still place, you know, back in the 1950s or something, going out for a dance with your partner and whatnot, and a kind of easygoing music and twirly dresses and weird suits and stuff. It's really, really beautiful and quite sensual and soft. But like I say again, why is this different to the other? It's that honeysuckle, which just works a bit of beautiful magic in there. So that's Dancing with Strangers from 4160 Tuesdays and Tessa. So yeah, that's probably the briefest video I've ever done, never mind briefest indie video. It's just 10 I'm loving at the moment, 10 that I'm kind of moving in towards as the summer kind of comes to an end, hopefully soon, thankfully. And these are just lovely ones, and the thing is, like I say, indie isn't what it used to be. Indie is very polished, very finished. I think one of the best ways of describing indie sometimes is made by people who aren't classically trained. They're not these people who are trained, you know, like make a copy of this to show how good your nose is. These people have developed these skills themselves. Some of them are obviously properly classically trained and that, but have decided to make their own thing rather than it smelling all the same. And that's what really makes them stand out now. Now creativity's died. This is all you're going to get. This is, and they are creative and they are different. Some of them, like say Olfactive O, are kind of easier going. They're not as wild or abstract. Not loads of them were, to be fair. But I'm saying that there's still, it's not done in that kind of, oh, this smells like everything else over there. Oh, there's a ton of cashmeran or whatever, you know, ambroxan. Don't get me wrong, some of their materials will be used, but they're used delicately and properly in them, in my opinion. So yeah, what about you? What's your favourite indie of the moment? Are there any more houses you'd like to recommend? Because say, I'll be back to sniffing. We're probably talking next year now, aren't we? Realistically, to get myself sorted and stuff. Right folks, thanks for watching. Bye.